All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Project Invent's Demo Day Weekend Edition. So appreciate you all coming out on the weekend to join us. Everybody say hi to each other. Wave. It's so nice to check out who the Project Invent community is. You are just a few of the amazing teams from around the country who have embarked in Project Invent this year, whether it be on a semester timeline or a full year timeline. It's really awesome for us to come together and celebrate all of the wonderful inventions that you all have created, the impact that you've made in your communities, and the community partners that you've worked with. So without further ado, here's the schedule for today. Each team, we're going to play their team videos, and then we are going to have a quick Q&A with the judges. And then we have a wonderful keynote speaker, Luke, who will be joining us. And then we'll have our awards and closing. So we're looking at this to be about a 2-hour event. And again, we know we're on Zoom, so please take care of yourself. If you need to take a break, grab a snack, whatever, do what you need to do. And yeah, as I said, I'm Carrie. I'm our events and volunteer manager here at Project Invent. We are a nonprofit that empowers students with the 21st century skills to succeed individually and impact globally through invention, as you all know. And our goal is to really create the next generation of fearless and compassionate problem solvers, because we know that in the world, there are always challenges arising, and we're going to need creative minds and caring hearts to be able to be those problem solvers. And I can talk all day about Project Invent, but let's hear from some students who have gone through the program and the impact that it's made.
We spend so much time, I think, designing for like the 99% of problems, but there are 1% of problems that are really important too, and that's what designing for social good is all about.
Building and creating a product that's bigger than myself. Oftentimes as high school students, we live in our own little bubble, and Project Invent has taught me how to step out of that bubble and create for others. So our community partners are Chloe and Darlene, and they're very unique individuals, and without Project Invent, I would never have had the opportunity to work with them and know what it's like to live as a blind person.
Building empathy for our community partner, that was a big one, because as my teammate has told me, and this stuck with me, corporate companies, when they build things, they build it for the general population on what they think is going to help. But having a first-hand account telling us I need this and I need that is it shows that we're genuinely going to help our community partner.
I think inventing through Project Invent will help me in my future, because it helped me improve my problem solving skills and my social skills, and since we had to do a lot of presentations, so it helped me be more confident speaking in front of people.
Project Invent will help me in the future, because learning the technology skills that I learned now will help me land a higher paying job.
But now I've come to realize, after doing Project Invent for my second year now, I've seen how prototyping is a lot bigger process than many people initially think. It is a lot of user testing, going back to the user, learning from your mistakes, what you could have done wrong, collaborating with your teammates, and most importantly, taking expert opinions on your product and a variety of opinions, even though you might not sometimes agree with it.
It's a fantastic opportunity for you to learn new skills and for you to work in a collaborative environment, engage with a community partner and learn from their perspectives, and understand the true selflessness of a process like innovation.
Awesome.
We spend so much time.
So we have 5 amazing judges who are with us today. Zaki, Donaldo, Krishna, Elizabeth, and Van. Each have an amazing professional background, and they have taken the time and are super excited to be here as judges today. They're really looking forward to seeing your inventions. And we would love to hear from each of the judges about what you're excited for being a part of the demo day today. So Zaki, can we start with you, please?
Sure. Good afternoon. So my name is Zaki Paracha. I'm with Lockheed Martin as a senior software system architect. And, I'm talking about myself as well as, the expectation I have from the young, amazing students and the participant. I know this is an exciting opportunity for you to not only shine today, but also be part of the community, larger community, who would, take the reins of this, exciting technical domain. So my advice to you is, be fearless and don't hesitate to take challenges as an opportunity to, shine in future.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Donaldo, would you like to take it away?
Sure. So I think, are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I think my screen just froze. But yeah, I think Zaki really kind of nailed it. Just really excited to see all the great work that has been accomplished and the collaboration between the students internally with each other, but also with their community.
Amazing. And Krishna, I know you were one of our keynote speakers for Idea Review throughout the year, so we're really happy to have you back as a judge. What are you excited about for today?
Yeah, I'm really, thank you so much, Kerry, for having me today. Can you hear me okay? Like I'm having some network issue at my end, but I just connected with the mobile hotspot. So yeah,
Yep, we can.
perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm really excited to look forward to see how young ideas are kind of nurturing. I think this is one of the great place to kind of shine. And one quote that I always say is, act fast and fail fast. So there is, nothing that, you can lose out of it, but it's always that learning. So I'm really looking forward to hear all your learnings and your projects. Yeah.
Thank you. And Elizabeth, welcome back. Part of another returning volunteer as well as Donaldo. Amazing. Can you share a little bit about what you're excited for with this demo day?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here, especially those of you on the West Coast who had to wake up early. I appreciate it. I know you've worked hard for a long time on these projects. I'm always really excited to see how the teams worked with their community partners and listened and kind of empathized with what the problem was and the creative solutions they come up with. It's always super impressive to me to see that. And I can't wait to see what all of you teams have put together for today.
Yeah, I love it. One thing I think that's personally special about Project Invent is it's not designing for hypotheticals. It's designing with real people and creating that real impact. So I definitely agree, Elizabeth. And last but not least, Van.
Yes, this is my first time, volunteer for this type of events. I'm excited to, to hear all the new ideas and that these students have where they at an age where they think out of the box. So, I'm very excited to see what kind of products they could present.
Awesome. And we so appreciate each one of you taking the time to be here and be our panelists for today. And now it's time to shout out our schools and teams from Perrysburg School, Da Vinci Charter Academy, Young Women's CPA, 49ers STEM Leadership, and Lynn Marin from Panama. So we are so excited to have each one of you present today. Want to give a shout out to our student teams and to our fellows, because honestly, without you all, this would not happen. So Brendan, Perry, Jen, we have Tracy in the house, and Carlin. Thank you each and every one of you for putting the effort into building your teams and going through Project Invent and being such advocates as educators for students in this type of learning. So I think in the chat, we need to also thank our fellows, give them some shout outs. And now it's time to get started. So our first team is from Da Vinci Charter Academy, the Active Davis Helpful Distributors, Team ADHD, and they have Project Isidore, a conglomeration of devices for a streamlined weighing system for small farms.
Greetings, we are the Active Davis Helpful Distributors. I'm our Communications Director, Luke DeArmond. With me today are our lovely associates, Elle Sharp and Dylan Sy. Our community partner is Temenos Gardens, a small local community garden or farm who's having some serious problems with growth. They're having extreme difficulty figuring out how much they are producing, and with their extremely loose system currently, they cannot figure out what they need to do better. Our solution is a conglomeration of a few devices and an app. The scale sends a scale which sends its data directly to the app, which also collects the current date and whatever item is being harvested. Then it is transported to a database currently held in Google Sheets. The app itself is on a tablet, which would be inadvisable to just have laying around on a farm. So it is held together by a holder crafted by our friend Sharp, and made out of a very durable PETG 3D printing filament. All in all, it would look something like this. Gripping directly onto the tablet in testing, we found some very important, we learned some very important things. One is that we had to move from SQLite, where we had originally held our database, to Google Sheets, because everything that Temenos Gardens has currently in documentation is already held in the Google Drive. So it would be best if the Google Sheets was the holder of the database. Also, in user testing, or perhaps more user breaking, we found that there are often events going on at Temenos Gardens, and with children often there, child-proofing these devices would absolutely be necessary. In terms of competition, there exists very little. Sure, on the big farming side of things, there are absolutely plenty of competition, but on the small community farms level, there is just nothing at all. So we are really the only ones there. In terms of next steps, we don't really have the time to figure it out. Farming is a very slow process that takes a lot of time, and in order to really figure out how we can improve our device and app, we need to learn how our users are, well, using it. So, any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oops. All right, so now we're going to have our Q&A session, and I'm going to spotlight some members of the team. I think Zoom only allows me to spotlight a certain number of team members, so judges, I will feel free, even if you're not spotlighted, to ask questions. And yeah, we can start the Q&A session.
Yeah, so what kind of data does this scale send to the app?
So the scale would send just the weight of whatever is being, well, weighed to the app.
So did you break down as to what the problem is, such as is it the climate, is it the soil, or is it the water?
So Luke, you're the one.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, could you repeat the question? I didn't.
Yeah, so the problem that the farmer has, did you narrow down as categorize what can be possible, I mean, what can be the problem, such as is it the soil, the water, the weather? Is it because you're sending the weight of the harvest? And that was it?
Basically what we kind of, as I said in the video, there's a lot of time that it takes for farming. So even with our device, it would, to really know what makes what was the thing that makes that much of a difference, we didn't really have enough time for that.
So what our app was for was so that the community partner could keep track of how well they're, I guess, like producing, like how much and stuff like that.
Oh, can I ask a question? Great job, first of all. Really enjoyed seeing your project. How did the community partner find actually using the invention that you built for them? What was the experience like for them?
So we ran into a few issues. So as we said in the video, we originally were using SQLite, so all the data was stored locally on tablet. But when we tried to make it send data and get data from a Google Sheet, we ran into some issues with the post request to the Google Sheet. So we've been working on that, and we haven't quite worked that out yet.
Oh, I think we have time for maybe
Yeah,
one.
I have a quick follow-up, which is slightly on a different tangent, but I'm sure you must have mentioned in the video, but I'm kind of curious, when you know listened or during that customer discovery process, like did you speak to specific farmers that are like to the specific states, or like is your solution like let's say if I'm planning to scale this to other states or some other demographics, would that still work? Or is it catered towards specific population?
We definitely, we really only communicated with the one, so I'm not really sure what the differences might be per se.
I mean, the app as it is right now, it probably wouldn't be able to be used by multiple organizations because right now it's, as I said before, we changed it so that it would be trying to do stuff in the Google Sheet. So right now it's just communicating with a certain Google Sheet that we made.
For that
So
individual app,
it wouldn't really be able to be used by multiple organizations.
but each organization could have its own app,
Yeah.
which wouldn't be that different from the one we currently have. So we could easily just make another one that is practically identical. With a different
Or
name,
we could just
different
make some way to input like what sheet it's supposed to be going to.
Great. Thank you so much, Team ADHD. And I love how you all highlighted it's a learning process, right? Invention is not a quick one. And it's always about thinking and going back and seeing how you can reiterate and reiterate. And I love the path that you're going forward. So thank you so much for sharing. We are going to move on to our next team, which is also from Da Vinci Charter Academy, Class Sync. And their product does automatic facial recognition to aid in attendance taking.
Hello everybody, we are Class Sync. Our team from left to right is Mariam, James, Calvin, Eshel, Guy, and Noah. Our community partner is Brittany Rosenberg. She has been teaching US history and psychology at our school for over 20 years, and she has a lot of issues with the current attendance system, with it being clunky and time-consuming to use. Our problem is that attendance takes up valuable instructional time. Mistakes in attendance can lead to cuts in funding for the school, and it creates safety issues when students come in late to class or leave in the middle of class.
Our solution to that problem is ClassSync. ClassSync is a software and tech package that automatically detects students who enter a classroom through facial recognition, as well as tracking when they leave for mid-class excursions, such as for the bathroom. This would solve the problem Ms. Rosenberg has with attendance taking too much time to track, as well as making it more confident for late students coming in and who is there or not, solving the safety issue for who's in the classroom or not. Ms. Rosenberg was very interested in the idea when we told her about it and has given us numerous feedback about how she likes this idea. She says it takes time to update the attendance for late students. This would make attendance a way more streamlined process. So our product is made up of a camera and computer that will be at the front of the classroom that will use facial recognition to see which students are coming in and what time they come in. It uses the bell schedule to see if students are late or not. So then it gets that data and then it sends it to a dashboard for teachers to easily view attendance on a website. There's a touchscreen on our computer that allows for students to check out when they leave for like the bathroom, and then it'll say the time at which they checked out and the time that they got back to class. And all it needs to see is your face to see which student you are. We also have a night vision camera. When we tested our product in a classroom, it worked really well, and we only got one false positive out of 2 class periods that we tracked. Ms. Rosenberg was really pleased with the results, and she was very excited. She was very excited about the future of this product. From our testing, we found that the camera was able to take multiple angles very easily, making it easy to track which students came in, even when they didn't look directly at the camera. Overall, our testing was a resounding success. The only thing that she said that we could have added was a bit more organization, and so we don't have as much of a tripping hazard with our wires.
We identified one major competitor, FA6. Our comparison showed that they had significantly slower times to recognize people, as well as not having students check out, and they also stored students of images in their database, reducing their privacy. Some of our next steps are to improve the reliability of our authentication and authorization system for improved security, adding additional controls for teachers to our user interface so they can control the class attendance system better. Also to integrate with the school attendance system so they have to not involve themselves at all with attendance. Another thing is to refine the user interface, because right now we do not have a lot of time to work on it and it's a little bit messy. We also want to redesign the housing for the camera to improve the angle we get on the students walking in. Here are some pictures of what our product looks like. This is the screen where students can check out for any reason, and this also is what's plugged into the camera to take attendance. And then we also have a picture of the dashboard where teachers can see who's at class and who's late and who's checked out.
Awesome. Thank you, Class Sync. Judges, take it away.
Yeah, let me take first stab at it. I mean, I really love the idea, and it's not only addressing, I guess it addresses two major issues. One is the discipline part of at the school, as well as the security piece of it, right? And the way you guys have handled this is awesome. One thing that I like to mention for your I guess future consideration is the privacy laws. Because obviously there could be minors as well as other students. So that may be one of the concern that you may have to address. But at this stage, I guess the idea itself is great. That would have all the information at teacher's fingertip as well as available for the future references. So great work.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with what Jackie had mentioned, because again, this is something my area of interest, which is in AI in education. I was kind of curious when you said around student attendance, because in practice, like I work with a lot of school districts in terms of our data collection, and we notice a lot of challenges specifically around attendance. I think this is a great solution, but the challenges I foresee is definitely on the privacy side. So possibly again, if you want to chat further, let me know. I'm like happy to chat. But yeah, that is something that I think. But have you thought of considered any ethical privacy considerations during your customer, like talking to the stakeholders?
Yeah, Noah did some research into the laws about privacy.
Yeah, so we did some preliminary research, at least in California, which is where we're based. There's no like hard laws about facial recognition. There's laws about uh other forms like fingerprints and gene sequences, but when it comes to facial data, there's not really there's probably laws in the works, but right now there isn't anything. When we were actually started prototyping, we did send an email notifying all the parents of the students who would be in the periods we're testing in, and we made sure that there were no complaints before we actually went through with it.
Got it. Yeah, I think each state has again their own state specific privacy laws like GDPR, HIPAA, and those at least some of those that I'm aware of. But yeah, there are many other policies as well. So maybe you want to take a look at it in case if you want to scale the solution.
Yeah, I thought this was amazing. As someone who has been a university professor at some points, I had very large classes sometimes, and this would have saved so much time just trying to track attendance sheets, things like that. So I think the idea is amazing. I was curious about the one false positive you received, and if you were able to figure out what caused that, and if you iterated that into your updated design.
Calvin can talk about how we're doing facial recognition.
Yeah, so the false positive, it's not an easy problem to fix because we can make it stricter and that will likely remove false positives, but that'll also make it more likely for it to miss someone. The other solution is adding more data as an input, and we actually have some implementation of that. So if it sees the person multiple times and is extremely confident that it got the person right, then it'll actually add in those images it collects of them walking in the room to create a more confident representation of their face in the database, so it can more accurately get them next time. So it should work better the longer it's in the room.
Great, that's amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Wonderful job, Class Sync. As a former educator myself, definitely could see so many uses for this. Really great job. All right, so we are going to move on to our next team, Also from Da Vinci Charter, Team Cat, with a cat-themed book recommendation device for libraries.
CAT, Reinvigorating Public Interest in Libraries. Short for Knowledge Advisory Terminal. Our project seeks to spread the love of literacy through a fun, creative, and engaging cat-themed terminal dedicated to recommending books to community readers.
Throughout this project, our team has consisted of Sarah Boyd, our 3D printing specialist, myself, Ignackley, I've been assigned to miscellaneous projects and tasks, Hunter Doyle, who's our community partner outreach specialist, Cassius Oliver, our Arduino specialist, and Charlie Weaver, our app developer. Together, we formed Team Cat, and we worked tirelessly over the past year to see our goals come into fruition.
A disinterested public. The problem.
According to Pew Research, only 18% of 16 to 17-year-olds nationwide said that libraries were very important to them and their families. This shows that there's a lot of untapped potential for millions of youth nationwide to enrich their lives through literature. In Davis specifically, there has been increasing public interest in libraries, but despite this, only 20% of the community's youth checked out a library book in the past year. This is because after the pandemic, interest in public libraries did spike, but mostly towards non-book related services.
Fortunately, this story has a hero. We reached out to the Davis Branch Library and met our community partner, Katrina Laws-Ewell. She is a youth services librarian who is obsessed with the written word. She loves fantasy, especially when it contains witches and gothic castles, and she became a librarian to learn something new every day. In our following meetings and emails, Katrina expressed the joy she feels when a library patron finds a book they love, and the struggle that goes into making it happen. In one email she shared, "In library school, we learn as part of the 5 laws of library science. Every reader their book, and every book its reader. As a librarian, we want to match every person to their book. Having a community of readers creates a thriving community. We need recommendation tools that help support us and our cause." The solution? CAT. And now we will share with you a video of our product in action.
This is our book recommendation app called CAT. Here I am inputting a title of a book, Harry Potter. Then I put in the author as J.K. Rowling. This is giving the app the information of the book and the author. Then I'm going to write what I like about the book that I'm inputting. I'm putting magic spells, since magic's pretty cool. And then I do fantasy and teen to make it group all the books together. Then we can search by the genre of the book. So I can go find the book I've just recommended. And there you see that Harry Potter is there. Then I can go to the admin option and put in a password. It shows all of the recommendations that I've made so far, so that the librarian can approve or delete certain books based on if it's appropriate for the section that's been put in or anything else that might be an issue. I've deleted the book The Jungle, which is now not shown in the list of things that would be inputted into the recommendation app.
It's like Tinder for books, Mr. Woolley.
Here's a diagram of how our product functions. First, a library patron inputs a book recommendation into the tablet. The tablet sends that information to an SQL server hosted on the tablet. The librarian reviews that recommendation and approves it if she deems fit. Then the recommendation is sent to the ticker to be displayed to other library patrons, who will then be inspired to read a new book.
The app collects and stores book recommendations from library patrons. These recommendations are sent to a nearby ticker to be displayed. Additionally, there is a search feature allowing people to seek out books that suit their specific needs.
Our 3D printed model takes the form of a cat, a beloved pet nationwide, but also an animal with a strong historical connection to libraries. The first library cat, named Mayo, belonged to a page at the Library of Alexandria and helped to develop the alphabetical system of shelving books we use today. Its friendly appearance also helps to make it enticing to all age groups, and additionally, the Maneki Neko figure brings interest in international cultures to youth in America and Yolo County.
The ticker's purpose is to display recommendations inputted by library patrons. It's versatile in its placement options, allowing for a lot of flexibility in placement. It could be placed next to a cat or on the other side of the room. It displays the title, author, section, and a brief description of the book on a scrolling LED display. The ticker can be wired or wireless. However, we choose to use a wired connection to our prototype. After some testing, concerns arose regarding the security of the device. As you can see, the unsecured tablet can simply be taken. We decided to use a wired connection because every time the Bluetooth needs to connect, the Arduino code needs to be re-uploaded.
As for competitors on the market, we are in a pretty secure spot. There are book recommendation websites and even some libraries that offer a similar service that recommends you books weekly depending on your interests. But our product takes a different approach. It's very on-site, it has a physical model, and displays recommendations throughout the library to inspire patrons when they're already there, so they don't have to worry beforehand about looking for a book that's tailored to their interests, but they might explore more new genres because of books recommended by their local community members. Our next steps in this project would be to implement an anti-theft cord similar to those seen in electronic stores, where we would take the spool of the cord and attach it to the back of the tablet stand, then run the cord through a hole in the tablet stand and attach the adhesive plate to the back of the cat. We would also want to make the Bluetooth connection between the ticker and the tablet more accessible, because having to reset that every time the power goes out or the Wi-Fi drops is really not ideal for a librarian who has other tasks to upkeep. It would also ideally be easier to produce each model because they are hand painted as of now, and that takes a long time. And if this product is successful, we would not be able to keep up with demand.
Books, literature, knowledge. Day after day, these pillars of society, the foundation upon which all civilization has been built, is discarded, left behind for newer, flashier forms of media. We cannot abandon our roots. We cannot forget our past. There is knowledge, truth, and beauty to be found between the words of a page. As literature declines, countermeasures must be taken. Make no mistake, people want to read. They want to engage. They want to learn. The problem is, people don't know what to read. They don't know where to find that specific book that calls out to them. Every reader their book, and every book its reader. This is the core principle upon which we undertook this project. This passion, this dedication, this commitment to a cause is what sets us apart. What sets CAT apart.
Well, thank you, Team Cat. Yeah, so we have a few minutes for Q&A with the judges.
Hi, great job. One of my best friends is a librarian, and engaging the public in reading is a super important mission. So I think it's super cool that you've taken that up. And I love the creativity of your idea. I did put in the chat, and I think a few of you saw it. There's a product called a split flat board, which is like, you've probably seen them at some restaurants, like a giant board, and all the letters kind of like split along. So if you had a big enough library where a lot of people were using it, it could be super dynamic to have all of those kind of like scrolling across as people are using it. They draw a lot of attention, et cetera, et cetera. My question was, were you able to pilot this at all with your community partner, or are you still at like a very theoretical stage? Like, did you put it in the library and did people use it?
We have yet to actually test the project invent at the library. The product is mostly done, but we haven't reached out to the community partner and used it yet.
Cool, thanks.
If I may add to what Elizabeth mentioned, I think the idea is it's a novel idea, a great idea, especially in the time and day when people are losing interest in physical books, whether a book or perhaps book on a device. So I think that would definitely trigger some interest. One thing I would like to mention that as you are putting one big display, perhaps in future you could have those kind of displays near each genre of the section, so that if I'm interested in only sci-fi versus historical books, so it can cater towards the needs or the interests of individual. And also you can make use of the based on the data collection and AI, it can also recommend certain books based on the historic nature or personal interest. So that will also bring the human machine interaction, because the librarian can also be involved in that kind of decision making. So just an advice, but great work though, especially the research you have done and the correlation that you guys have done with the cat itself and the historical nature of that cat to the Alexandria Library. I love that part.
Thank you. That's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, I think going off of Zaki's feedback, I definitely see a lot of like different ways that I can see you guys kind of exploring more stuff. I'm curious, I might have missed it, but in the input stage, I'm wondering if maybe kind of adding, like when you're submitting a book recommendation to the librarian, you can give kind of like a why you're recommending it or why you like this book. Because I think it could be helpful or interesting for other readers to know why this person is interested in it, or maybe like a one-line description of the book when you display it, so that it kind of gives more information as it's kind of rolling by. Um, and so I don't know if y'all have thought about, I guess the layout of the display in terms of organizing, I guess, by genre or adding more details other than the book titles.
We kind of are limited by the space on the ticker because we're just using part of our ticker broke a little bit, so it's shorter than we expected. But in the app, there is like an input for like why you recommend this book, and then that would be displayed on the ticker. It's just we're keeping it really short in the example we used in the demo, because our ticker is like shortened just in length right now, so it would be difficult to read. We were afraid.
Yes, there is a section in the app where you can input why you recommended the book.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Team Cat. Wonderful presentation. Very engaging. All right, so we're going to move on to our next team from Panama City in Panama. And that is Team Task Alert, with a notebook that helps you organize your time in a better way.
These days we live busy life with a lot of responsibilities and activities to do. Many people have trouble organizing their time and end up getting distracted and often missing important events or dates and responsibilities.
This is the case of David Olmedo, our community partner. He is an independent lawyer. He runs his own foundation, Empoderate, and he also prepares and teaches classes. He does not have a team to delegate his activities, and it's difficult for him to remember when he receives interruptions and additional tasks that he needs to solved immediately. He spent a lot of time driving to the university and local offices.
After meeting David, we create the task alert, a notebook that helps you organize your time in a better way. It's a notebook because the community partner organized his time with a physical agenda. He thinks that notebook agenda are better than computer agenda because you store the information in your brain when you're right.
How does the task alert work? First, you write your type for the day in the traditional way. The task alert is a notebook with the micro:bit integrated. By pressing button A, you add tasks to the list. Pressing the B button removes the tasks you already complete from the inventory. The task alert is also programmed to if you have tasks every hour. If you have pending tasks, it will give you an auditory alert. We want to add some extra functionalities to the task alert. We want it to be able to record and play audio with the tasks you need to do. In addition, we want the user to personalize songs and adjust volume.
I am Carlos Moreno. I'm 17 years old and live in Panama. I am this project to try to reform and learn a little more English and have more experience with subjects and science because I am planning to study electrical energy.
I am Anna Roberts. I am 14 years old and I live in Panama City. This project taught me that things are never easy and you have to be creative and dynamic to get to what you want.
Join us in supporting your revolutionary tool and start taking control of your task. Say goodbye to forgetting your activities and hello to efficient productivity.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Task Alert. Our judges, it's time for the Q&A.
Let me be the first. Great job, guys. Especially coming up with the challenges, and I think the couple of things I like about your presentation as well as the product that you're presenting. You are addressing a real problem. We all need to be organized, and the simplicity of the application and graphical nature of that clearly articulate what needs to be done based on the inputs. I think I like that part of it. So, and also the way you guys have presented, um, kudos to you. So great work.
Great work to the team as well. Were there any challenges that you had during this project? If so, how did you overcome it?
Can you repeat, please? I don't.
Were there any challenges that you faced while you were working on this project?
Yes, with the principal idea on how we have created this idea, and uh, in the moment we have created the physical object, and I think this is.
Thank
Yeah, I think I kind of it's a I think other judges also pointed out this is a very unorganized space and like it's much needed. I think kudos to you guys that working towards the solution. And I'm just curious to understand, like, in terms of your next steps, like, what are your immediate steps and like your long-term vision for this product?
Sorry, I can hear very well, so can you repeat, please? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. So, like, what are your next steps, and your long-term vision?
Uh,
Anna, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think we're having a little hard time hearing you, Anna.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I'm having some network issue. Probably that's why. But yeah, I just dropped the question in the chat. So, like, what are your next steps that you're considering and the long-term vision of the project?
And it's okay to say you don't know too, right? Because invention is a whole journey, right?
Sorry, I can't understand the question very well. Sorry.
No need to apologize. Carla, if you want to step in too.
If I can jump in and translate the question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. La pregunta es, ¿cuáles son los siguientes pasos a largo plazo? ¿Cuál es la visión que tenemos
Yeah.
con el task?
Yeah, the next step is install microphone. I don't know how to say it now.
Carlin, if you want to translate, that's cool too.
No? What?
Yeah, go ahead and you can use your Spanglish and I'll help you out if you need to. Spanglish.
The next step is install a microphone para poder organizar las tareas con la voz, así como nosotros poder al hablar y decir las cosas, ya el mismo, ¿cómo se dice? El mismo programa organice y clasifique las tareas que pues nosotros decimos.
Sorry, the next step would be to be able to add the microphone so that you can dictate the task that you want to do and that the notebook will actually kind of like organize them and classify them as well.
Very cool. Thank you, Carlin, and thank you, Task Alert. Really wonderful job. This is a great product. Excellent. So we're gonna move. Awesome. So we're gonna move on to our next group, and that group is from Perrysburg Schools. And we have the 7 a.m. synthesizers with their boost pad, which fosters independence one boost at a time.
Hello everyone, we are Team 7 a.m. Synthesizers and our invention is the Boost Pad. Our goal with Project Invent is to foster independence and confidence in people of all ages with dwarfism, one boost at a time. Our story begins with Blake, a cheery 6.5-year-old, Minnie Mouse loving kindergartner who has primordial dwarfism and is our community partner. Blake has a trach tube, so most of our verbal communication has been with her mom, Kate. At a height of only 2 feet tall, almost half of that of her classmates, one of the first things Kate told us was, "The biggest struggle for Blake is what you'd imagine, reach." However, Blake's struggle with reach extends much deeper than accessibility. Kate also told us she wants to be able to turn on a light switch, pull down window blinds, open a door, all of the things her peers are able to do. She is capable, but her size limits her, and that causes a lot of frustration. Blake struggles with reach extend from at home to the classroom and include difficulties in climbing chairs, reaching table level, and stairs. Her current solutions are makeshift and include dog stairs to reach her towering bed, as well as a smaller toilet in the middle of her classroom with very little privacy. Through this, Blake faces the larger problem of frustrating feelings of lacking independence and not being at the same level as her peers. So, this group of 7 students rose to the challenge to advocate for Blake through invention. We have our presentation line featuring Takwa and Rena, our software line with Zach and Tanisha, and our hardware line with Liam, Lydia, and Logan.
The features of the boost pad include a motor, pulley system, scissor lift mechanism, a UI which is made up of buttons to ascend and descend the mechanism, along with collapsible walls to prevent pinched fingers, a governor to control the speed of the mechanism, and railings as an additional safety feature. Additionally, we're also going to include wheels for portability. As we've seen now from our features of the boost pad, they are very specific to our own product. However, there are other similar products on the market. Currently, there are no items that are just like the boost pad that serve that exact purpose. However, some similar ones that we found include the universal seat cushion, which is a $40 cushion that's placed on a seat to increase your height. It's also incredibly user-friendly, but it can only be used for one purpose and nothing else. The second item we have is the Ameriglide platform lift. This 4,500 heavy-duty lift is meant for the outside and can only be used in one location since it's so difficult to move. And the last item we have is the stair lift, which is valued at $2,050. It's not meant to be portable, but it is easy to use with wireless call stations at the top and bottom of the stairs. Despite the similar ideas, these items still differ in purposes from our product, the boost pad. The boost pad is a high-tech invention that is relatively inexpensive to the other vertical lift products on the market. It's also built to be portable and is very user-friendly. Safety features include a slow-rising platform, railings, an emergency crank, and collapsible slides. One of our setbacks was with our motor and pulley mechanism. The amount of force and torque needed to raise the mechanism required too much energy for our simple motor to provide, so we had to create an elaborate pulley system to help distribute the initial energy needed to boost the mechanism. Additionally, we also initially had a track system with plastic brackets running on metal rails to help raise the platform. However, the system had too much friction, and the platform could not easily raise, so we removed the rail and replaced the bracket with the wheel. We made a system of outer rails to guide the wheel in the direction that we wanted to go in order to raise the platform. The solution with the wheel ran much smoother than the previous mechanism. Through more communication with Kate, we know that dwarfism will follow Blake throughout her entire life. She will always struggle with reach, but the boost pad aims to reduce these issues and help her gain independence, the same independence that her peers have.
As for our next steps with the boost pad, we plan to replace the pulley system with actuators to lift more weight and reduce cost, add collapsible cloth or fiber walls along the sides of the invention, or add railings for safety, and to use plastic for the bases to reduce weight of the invention and for safety as well.
Awesome. Thank you, 7 a.m. synthesizers. And your Q&A starts now.
Great job. I really enjoyed hearing the resilience section and kind of the challenges that you encountered and the ways that you tried to address all of them. I thought that that was super impressive the way you presented it, and I really liked the way you pivoted and the thoughtfulness towards trying to make sure this was accessible for a lot of different people, both like accessible in that easy to like carry around, safe, easy to use, but also cost-wise accessible, because sometimes that could be a barrier for people. were you able to test this yet, or is that one of your next steps?
Yes, we actually tested this with Play. So we went to her school and we were able to get her to use the boost pad to reach some toys and stuff in her classroom. And we did meet a few hurdles there. For example, the first time that she tried it, the mechanism only got to about halfway until it started to sputter. So then we had to go back and readjust some of the leveraging and just how the mechanism worked, and we had to keep reinforcing it. But the second time, she was able to completely use it and she was able to reach what she needed. So it was a fair success. We still do have some problems to work on it, such as, for example, a leveling mechanism, but at the moment it's working as intended.
Got it. That's great. So at like that point, you've been able to test it, and then I guess the next step will be once you have the latest iterations done to test it again.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
No.
So guys,
Wow. Oh.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, I was just saying that it seems like y'all have done so much prototyping and just trial and error that it's really, really cool. And I really like how there's a lot of, when you're comparing it to other products, you're thinking about like the multi-utility of it and not just like one application. I'm curious, like what is the total weight of the device?
I think Logan might have a better estimate for that. I'm not entirely sure on that.
Yeah, so the materials that we had to build the prototype with were what was at our school. So it's actually made mostly with steel right now. We have some aluminum parts, but it actually weighs somewhere between 5 to 10 pounds. In the future, though, we would likely we would keep the structural parts metal, but probably use something like aluminum. And then for the top and bottom, we would probably find a way to make a plastic structure that has ridges on the underside. So it won't break if you stand on it. It'll have just enough strength to support like the weight of a person, but it would be like a lot lighter, because the idea for this is for it to be as portable as possible. And for somebody who has primordial dwarfism, Blake can't lift that much. I think she can lift like 5 or so pounds, maybe, like as her max weight. So we were thinking of having this like a suitcase where like a handle pulls out of the side and then you can tilt it up when it's like completely collapsed, and then you can pull it along and then drop it down on the ground and then stand on it from there.
We couldn't see this in the design that we had posted, but on the design that we tested with Blake, we were able to attach wheels. And part of this is also like a budgeting issue because we still want to maximize safety and reinforcement while also still making it lighter. So for that, we do need some more expensive materials, but for now, this is what we have.
Awesome. I think there's time for one more question from the judges.
So if I may, not a question, but rather a comment. I think the most important aspect which I got impressed with is you guys are learning from your, I guess, failures. I wouldn't call it failure, but I think it was learning experience. And those become the opportunity for you to improvise your product, right? So that to me, that's the most important, impressive aspect of this thing. And the way you are addressing the issue to help the people, that's also very novel. So congratulations on that.
Awesome. Totally agree. We know that invention and design thinking is such a learning process. So kudos to all of you, especially in connecting with your community partner. Thank you so much, 7 a.m. synthesizers. Awesome.
Thank you.
Great job. So we're going to move on to our next team, and that team is from the Young Women's College Preparatory Academy, Tech 8, with their Heat Watch, which raises awareness about extreme temperatures and helps prevent heat stroke.
Hello Project Invent team, we are Team Tech 8. My name is Deja, I am the leader and I'm the prototyper.
My name is Alyssa and I'm the co-leader and designer.
My name is Gianna and I'm the coder.
My name is Autumn and I'm also the designer.
My name is Jillian and I'm a researcher.
In Texas, hot temperatures are very common, especially for those who work outside all day long in the construction and refinery industries. Heat can cause serious fatal problems, such as heat exhaustion and heat strokes, leading to tragic fatalities. Our community partners also struggle with this issue. Their concern is that they work in a refinery where temperatures can be so extreme they become deadly. Recognizing this was an issue, we came up with a solution that aimed at reducing the amount of heat-related problems.
Our solution, the Heat Watch, which stands for Heat Electronic Appliance Team. With the help of our community partner and sponsor, we were able to design a watch that can alert a person who is wearing the watch within 250 feet of range when temperatures become too high. Instead of waiting for symptoms to appear, the watch gives you a heads up by monitoring essential data and metrics and in-time communication with coworkers.
This is a diagram of our watch. First, we have the microbit, which displays the temperature and any alerts that come through. The temperature sensor that is located on the back of the microbit. We have the watch case, which is used for support and aesthetic purposes. The watch band that fits snugly on your wrist, and last but not least, the battery, which keeps the microbit up and running.
Features of our watch include a microbit that is coded as a radio, a loud automatic alarm to notify other wearers when temperatures become too extreme, a wristband that is adjustable, and an app that collects data from the watch and uses that to spin personalized notifications.
The majority of our feedback came from our community partners from Hydrochem PSC. They think our watch has all the necessary functions to be very useful in a wearer's everyday work or personal life.
Although we do have major competitors such as Apple Watch and Fitbit, our solution is very unique. We compared our Heat Watch to 2 different products, and we realized that our watch stacks up pretty well. The most important feature is that our watch can track temperatures and collect data and use that to send personalized notifications to the wearer.
For our pricing, we combine the price of our materials. We purchased a microbit for $25, a watch band for $8 from Amazon.com, and we 3D printed our watch case for roughly $15. We then had a markup cost of 100%, which brings our total to $96.
The challenges we faced were mainly with the code. The code was especially difficult because of the radio feature. It was really hard to complete because of the bugs, but our team overcame the struggle by trying many different methods. Another challenge was the prototype. Since the feedback from our community partner was how chunky and thick the band was, we decided to do something different by 3D printing the case and then bought a watch band, since this would be overall slimmer than our original prototype.
For our next steps, we need to gather more funding so that we can produce our Heat Watch on a larger scale so that we can help people who need it. We also want to continue to research and think of new ideas that can be added to our watch to create the best version possible.
Our Heat Watch raises awareness about the effects of extreme temperatures and is a way to prevent heat strokes. The watch is able to monitor the user's temperature and notify others that they are overheating. As we improve our product, we would love more feedback and support from Project Invent. Thank you.
Tech 8, wonderful job, wonderful job. And yeah, now it's time for your Q&A session.
Hi, Team Tech 8. I loved your videos. You probably saw in the chat. Cool to see you all in the same room together too. I was thinking in a sort of maybe different direction than what some of the video approached. Have you thought about in your next prototyping steps how you're going to change maybe the materials or appearance of the watch to make sure that like I noticed like they were out like in the oil refinery or whatever it was, things like dust and things like that don't get into. So I guess, yeah, I was thinking, I guess, about the materials engineering aspect of it and what your thoughts are there.
Okay, unmute us. We're unmuted.
Okay. So for our wristband, we were considering using nylon because it's heat resistant and stuff. And then I think and it has no out.
it can prevent from others having allergies as well. So like if they're allergic to like our 3D printing watch, we can use the nylon that can help so it won't cause them more damage than the heat already is.
Oh, that's very thoughtful. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually really liked y'all's approach of instead of creating your own wristband, you just get like one of the commercial ones, like an Apple Watch or Fitbit watch kind of band, and you can kind of make your device interoperable with those wristbands, and that way they can maybe choose their own and customize their wristband, or just kind of be able to replace that aspect, because I know that can be a point of failure with breakage. I'm curious, have you tested how long the device lasts as well, like the battery charge? Does it last the whole day?
I would say our battery life has an estimate of 2 days. Since like it's always on, it's constantly running. But it doesn't use the battery until like if you actually like have to send the message out that you are overheating. And
Any other questions or comments from our judges?
I would like to add on to something. Our fellowship had brought to our attention that AI has been like growing in our community, and we would want to incorporate it more. And we believe that by a click of a button on our watch, for example, we can say, "Hey, can you check on Alyssa for me? I haven't heard from her in a while." And it would send a direct message to my watch saying Alyssa's current vitals and how her well-being is currently.
So yeah, I think also with if you're considering AI and like adding that, I think another aspect could be with that data collection across multiple users, and then maybe like doing an analysis and trying to detect kind of points or like certain situations that are leading to more heat.
Yes, we
related
actually
issues.
have incorporated that. We have a prototype, an app that we made to connect with our heat watch that can track your temperature and your vitals. And it does have a data set on where it will show you like your different heat temperatures throughout the coming days or throughout the days that you have been wearing your watch.
Yeah, in that same vein, it could also be cool if you use the AI and machine learning so that when there are people in a similar area that are getting a lot of alerts, maybe you proactively warn people that are kind of near them, like, oh, yeah, make sure you stay safe, etc. We're getting a lot of heat issues in your area or something along those lines too. So proactively warning people before they even get into the danger zone could be a potential utility for it.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I think we have one more question from
I just dropped in the chat because my voice is cutting down, so I thought it's easy, but I'll repeat it. What are the challenges do you foresee when scaling this watch, be it a market expansion or be it a tech challenges?
The challenges that you anticipate getting this to market.
Of competitors like adding stuff.
Yeah.
So we could have our competitors like adding similar features to our watch. That could be a struggle.
And also funding for major scale. So like a lot of the watches at a time, we're worried about like funding for the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your thoughtful responses, Tech8, and from all of our judges, your questions and contributions. I'm loving the chat right now and how supportive our teams are of each other and asking these questions and sharing resources. That's really what Project Invent is all about. So really wonderful job. Awesome. And now we are going to move on to 49er STEM Leadership Institute with Team Mint and the Pond Patrol, which is a pond water level sensor to maintain levels of water bodies and prevent fluctuations.
Afternoon, esteemed judges. We are Team Mint, a team of passionate students from Santa Clara High School and the STEM program.
We collaborated closely with Sajima's Mint Pasakti throughout the project. Mint is employed in a middle school as a nature curator. Throughout our meetings where we visited her workplace and toured the nature center, we identified an issue she was facing. She was unable to maintain water level fluctuations in the pond and struggled with implementing a proper water level system. Without an efficient system in place, we recognize fluctuations in water levels that impose risk to the delicate ecosystem and wildlife inhabiting the center's ponds and surrounding areas. Locally, many man-made ponds face water level issues and rely on pumps to raise them. However, it is difficult for caretakers to decide exactly how much water to add or drain to keep the pond at a healthy level.
This problem increases at a larger scale. In the United States alone, with over 50 million acres of water bodies, 43% of them are left unmonitored and are put at risk of overflowing, flooding, and shortage of water. In fact, there was a recent pond flooding occurrence in Portland, Connecticut, which prompted us to look into water level monitoring further. Due to improper pond monitoring, a local community in Connecticut found themselves needing to use their water pumps daily to try and suppress the flooding water. This cost the locals thousands of dollars in maintenance fees for the ponds and almost put them out of a job, which led us to understand the significance of water level monitoring.
After careful research, we created our solution, a cutting-edge pond sensor system designed to revolutionize water level monitoring. Using a combination of a clamp, stick, dome, and Arduino circuits, our system detects water movement through a photoelectronic liquid level sensor.
Meet Pond Patrol, a cutting-edge device designed for water level monitoring. The base is 4.5 inches in diameter and the clamp is 4.5 inches tall. The base includes a hollow bank containing of the hardware components and an adjustable clamp mechanism to attach to various surface widths. The entirety of the device is 3D printed with waterproof filament and can withstand being fully submerged in water. Our device collects its data through its photoelectric water sensor, which hangs at the ideal height for the water and sends a notification to the pump or curator when the water level is reached.
We utilized waterproof 3D print filament and clamps to ensure resilience in outdoor environments. A major turning point in our project was when we realized that our project would not be able to clamp onto different surfaces, as its width was constant. And when we compared it to competitors, we saw how difficult implementing normal water sensors are. So we decided to create an adjustable C-clamp to accommodate various widths.
Our product was designed to help our community partner Mint, and it does this by allowing her to track the water level systems of her pond without having to estimate everything by eye like she originally did. By doing this, she can adjust her pump and maintain a safe water level in the pond for animals like ducks, turtles, and fish. Furthermore, we hope to implement a website feature in our invention that visualizes data. The website will use data visualization to track water level fluctuations. To help her visualize patterns in the changing levels of the pond, Mint had asked us to provide her with daily and monthly data about the pond's water levels. For our customers, this website provides real-time monitoring so you can check on the pond even if the water levels are not dangerous yet. Using this tool, our customers can determine if the water levels are too high or too low at a given time and take action accordingly.
While continuously working and meeting up with our community partner Mint, we received various amounts of feedback that can help us improve our invention. Overall, she was very satisfied with our designing process and functions of our product, but had some concerns about extreme weather conditions, and we worked elaborately to address these issues. We realized that due to the shady location and materials of our product, there will not be any issues with sun damage or any extreme weather conditions like rain or wind.
This water level sensor differs from current water level sensors on the market. Our pond sensor system offers unparalleled ease of implementation thanks to its adjustable clamp design that minimizes disruption to the natural environment. The mushroom-shaped dome seamlessly blends into the surroundings, while its round shape prevents water accumulation. Our product is practical, adaptable, and user-friendly.
The product itself costs $35 to develop and engineer, $5 to upgrade, and an additional $10 for market profit. When the product is released onto the market, its final cost will be around $50. We would initially like a $1,000 investment to start mass-scale production to put our product on the market.
Thank you for considering our project, which embodies our commitment to environmental stewardship and innovation. Together, let's safeguard our precious natural resources for generations to come. Join our journey to pond protection and help us implement the Pond Patrol into local communities today.
Love it. Thank you so much, Pond Patrol. Really wonderful job. And yeah, we are going to start your Q&A now. Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble spotlighting you. There we go. Awesome. Hi, Pond Patrol. And judges, take it away.
Well, I thought this was awesome, especially as someone who has gotten in trouble from my father-in-law for letting the levels in his pool drop too much. So that so that brings up a question for me. Have you considered like modifying or making a version of this that people with at-home pools can use? I know particularly in like California, you face like drought and things like that. But yes, have you thought about that at all? I guess is my question.
So for our project, we were thinking about like, yes, we've thought about like our target audience, and pool owners can be one of them. So how we would implement it is, because we all have an adjustable C-clamp, the C-clamp can still be is able to attach to the pool, like the ridge of the pool, the edge of the pool. And then we can just drop down the sensor to the ideal height of what the pool should be at.
No, awesome. Thank you.
Hey, great jobs again. One question, or maybe you have explained and I might have missed it. How are you planning to, or how are you, providing the power to this device, and how are you planning to maintain this for a long run?
So it actually runs off of 9-volt batteries, and we made the top part of the dome actually adjustable, and you can take it on and off for easy access. So if I can see it real quick, you can take it off really easily, and then you can replace the batteries, and you can take off the clamp if you need more access to it on the inside.
Great. Maybe just a recommendation for future reference. Since it's going to be sitting outside, and especially in the outdoors, maybe you may consider putting some photocells to power it up, or put a rechargeable battery so that it can power itself.
Yeah, for future iterations, we're definitely talking about using more renewable sources of energy, like other than batteries.
Sure.
Was there any issues that you had with what is it, like water protection, or how did y'all tackle that?
So when it comes to water protection, originally we had a bunch of iterations, I think 5 iterations for the 3D printed frame that all of the Arduino components went into. And it took our last one to finally solve that, as the major problem we had was within this part, since the clamp was so close to the body of the design, there was a ridge where the cap wouldn't cover it from water hitting it from the top. And so it took a lot of iterations, but eventually we just made an extra ridge on the inside that it was 3D printed with, so that water can flow right past it once it hits and falls off the top. And if you look closely from here, you can see that there's the ridge so that it won't flow into the project.
Great. I think we have time for one more question or comment from our judges. Awesome.
Yeah, I think my question got already covered by Elizabeth, so I don't have any questions, but you guys done a great job. Kudos, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Amazing job. Awesome. So we're going to move on to our next team. And that team is Team BART with their Pill Wheel Pro, which is an automatic pill dispenser for hassle-free medication management.
Our community partner is Bart Narder, a passionate cyclist and avid traveler who was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2011. Bart faces challenges such as loss of fine motor control, which led him to lose his ability to write efficiently. Furthermore, fatigue results in a resurgence in his symptoms, including loss of motor skills and the dragging of his left foot. The loss of fine motor control has greatly increased the difficulty of sorting his multiple pills and medication for Parkinson's and diabetes. Additionally, despite having a deep brain stimulator to suppress his symptoms, Bart's tremors become apparent when he is wet or cold.
Our community partner has Parkinson's and as a result has a lot of pills that need to be kept track of. However, it's not just people who have Parkinson's that are affected. About 24% of the people in the United States use more than 3 drugs daily. This ordeal of tracking drugs has become a time consuming and challenging task, considering that each drug needs to be taken at a different time interval, the sheer quantity of drugs to organize, and the fact that many of them look identical to each other. Moreover, there is essentially no margin of error, as mixing 2 drugs together or even taking a drug at the wrong time can have lethal consequences. Our community partner, Bar Narder, was kind enough to show us exactly how complicated the task of tracking every drug is. Mr. Narder has 13 drugs to keep track of overall, but when the drugs need to be spread out across 4 distinct times per day, with each pill having a different quantity per use, it becomes a tedious task.
Our solution to this task is to automate the entire process by creating a pill dispenser that dispenses pills based on the data inputted by the user. Our solution minimizes the dangers of mixing the pills because it allows you to organize your pills into separate compartments and input the quantity of each pill needed to be taken at a certain time. Mr. Narder explains his current pill situation. I have a pill box that's probably the greatest hassle. Say a pill box that's 7x4. So I have my morning pills and my night ones, and I have to load that, and it takes a long time because I take a lot of pills.
Taking this, we created a product in which our user would need to organize their pills only once and allow the device to take care of the accurate dispensing of the pills at the proper time to eliminate the need to meticulously keep track of every single pill. Additionally, to help the user input all the information needed for their pills, we created a user-friendly interface. In order to function, our device uses an interface that receives 3 main pieces of information from the user: the name of the pill, the quantity per usage, and the time it needs to be taken. Here's a quick demonstration of our CAD file on the left and our original prototype on the right. This is a front view and side view of our current design. And here are 2 working videos of our project.
Multiple products on the market have pill dispensing features. However, they are designed so that the user would have to manually sort the pills and keep them in the correct divider for the dispenser to dispense later. Our product eliminates the need to organize the pills beforehand, as our device would rotate through and drop the correct amount of each pill as necessary during that time of day. Along with this, there are products such as the Metacube, which functions similarly to ours. However, the cost of this product is about $1,800, which would be too expensive for the everyday user to have in their home. Our solution aims to create the same functionality of the Metacube more simply and cost effectively.
At the moment, our dispensing mechanism is measured accurately to fit the size of the pills that our community partner uses. We would like to make it so that the dispenser can fit all pill sizes with the same design, which would allow us to mass produce it. Another feature that we would like to add would be a camera to make sure that the dispensed pills are indeed the correct ones from the data. Finally, our community partner himself provided us with an idea of, quote, being able to have the doctor using the app to connect to the device to make sure that I'm getting the right dosage of the medicines that the doctor has prescribed.
All right, time for the Q&A session. Take it away.
Once again, great presentation, super interesting. There's definitely a need for what you invented. I think it's a really creative solution. So great job all around. Would you envision at some point in the future, and maybe this isn't necessarily feasible because so many pills look alike, but something with like a camera where you just like dump them in and it's like, oh, that one goes in that slot, that one goes in that slot. Or they're just like too many white pills that look the same, but that's not really a feasible direction. Curious your thoughts about that.
Yeah, okay. I guess one thing that we'd want to mention is that the camera feature really acts as a secondary kind of safety.
even though that we are rigorously testing, ensuring that the device is accurate on its own, we also want to be able to have like that second just barrier, making sure that there's absolutely no margin for error and that doctors can always see that, oh, the patient is taking the correct medication. And so currently our design works so that every type of pill only needs to be dispensed into a certain container. That means that a user wouldn't necessarily dump all their pills at once, but it would be easy to dispense all the kinds of the same pill into whatever compartment so that they can be easily organized at a later time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's super ambitious and it's like a very fun design. I think I could see it, and if I see a lot of pill boxes that kind of have a transparent or like they're made with like acrylic or something. I definitely see kind of a design that has kind of a window and some labeling. And so how often I think I missed how often does it need to be refilled?
So the user will be able, so actually the top lid of our wheel dispensing mechanism can be removed. So the user can always check how many pills are left in each compartment, and then they can refill each compartment with the amount of pills that they need.
I think I'd also just like to quickly add on that our project is connected to a UI. And so one thing that the user can start to input is that their actual number of pills that they start with and how many they're going to be taking. That is all stuff that the UI is going to know, which means that it can also do the calculations by itself. I believe that when we talked to our community partner, he agreed that around 2 weeks is around the time when he wants to know when his pills start to run out. And so when there's around 2 weeks of medication left, it can easily send a notification to him or to his healthcare provider that he's starting to run out of his pills and medication.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was kind of thinking on that lines to track on the dash, having like a dashboard view where user can track like number of pills that they have, and I think that's like it's a great way of leveraging this tech, because even like I see my brother, he had a diabetes, and then one thing that he always faces is like you don't track the number of pills. So I think, yeah, having such solution would certainly help both doctors and in advance by giving that whole view. It's pretty cool, guys. Good job.
Excellent idea. Any final thoughts or questions from our judges before we move on to our next team? All right. Thank you so much. Really wonderful job. And we are going to go to our next team from 49ers STEM Leadership Institute. Team Aardvarks with the Aquatonicator 3000, I think I got that, an innovative, educationally engaging, receptive, waterborne device.
What's up, guys? I'm with Team Aardvarks. I'm Kenneth.
I'm Maria.
I'm Reba.
I'm Mariha. I'm Sanvi.
And I'm Vihan. Now let's go take a tour of this nature center.
We're a group of freshmen and sophomores, half and half, and we're here to explore the nature center right now.
We go to Santa Clara High School and we're participating in Project Invent because we're passionate about trying to make a difference to help our community partner and improve our environment.
So let's go!
Hi, I'm Kim Hunter. I'm the Environmental Literacy TOSA for the school district, and I also teach environmental leadership for 7th and 8th grade students here at Peterson. The students and I use this nature area, Osborne Nature Area, for field trips for elementary school students.
Good.
I'm trying to find out a little bit more about the marsh water and the pond water, to learn about the temperatures and the pH in both those places.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good question that a lot of people have in nature. And I think that a device could really help you out that is able to track the different temperatures, pHs, see what's going on underwater, and be able to track other qualities of the water.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I think a camera underwater camera would also help you like kind of learn more about what's underneath and life underneath the pond.
Yeah, I'd be curious to find out more questions that the students come up with the camera, because they often come here during their field trips and wonder what the turtles look like and the fish look like. So having a camera would be really great.
Yeah, especially if we can connect it to a screen so they can watch what's going on outside of the water.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We'll take that plan to the drawing board.
The aardvark started brainstorming product design ideas to best help Miss Hunter. Their first prototype involved soda cans surrounded by PVC for support. The soda cans would provide buoyancy to the device, and the sensors and camera could be attached to the sides of the PVC. However, when testing their product in a makeshift pond, the aardvarks realized that it could not hold much weight. The soda cans only made it flimsy and weak, so they decided to shift their idea to a sturdier design that would be more practical. The aardvark's next design involved only PVC, making it a much more foolproof prototype. The spacing in the middle would allow plants to grow with it, incorporating an environmentally friendly aquaponics system to the device. However, this design also ended up being too heavy. After multiple iterations, the aardvarks finally created their final prototype for Miss Hunter to utilize in her outdoor classroom.
Hi, Miss Hunter, we've got our design.
Oh, wow. Let me see how it works. Okay.
So right now the device is monitoring the temperature and it has a camera screen of the surface below.
So the kids are or the students are gonna be able to see fish and learn about fish and turtles a little bit more.
Yeah, and hopefully this will engage them in the environment for future participation.
That's great.
This is our final device. This part down here is made with graduated cylinders and it's wrapped inside of a Ziploc bag, and its purpose is to ensure that the device will float.
Inside of the top housing of our device, we have the battery pack that powers everything, as well as the Raspberry Pi Zero, which has all of the connections to our various sensors.
Our device also features a camera, which is connected to the Raspberry Zero in the top component. The camera is then feeded through the middle graduated cylinder and is right here at the bottom. This is so that the camera can have an underwater view of the animals and plants living in the pond or any other water body.
Connected to our Raspberry Pi is a temperature sensor which comes out from the top of our device, which dips into the water and detects the temperature of the water every 100 milliseconds.
So, how are we going to market our design?
I think we should take our design to park rangers and natural park enthusiasts and show them how it works in the natural environment. That way they'll be more inclined to purchase our design.
We could also have social media accounts, and on those accounts we can show all the new and different features of our design and how you can purchase it.
So who can we market our design to?
I think pool owners, like natural parks and forest trails, people that have to manage bodies of water would be good people to market this to.
And what's our competitor matrix, right?
I think our major competitors are pool cleaners, but there's nothing exactly like our device.
Yeah, so our device, it kind of works for a greater audience and has more features with our camera and temperature sensor.
Yeah. I think we can also share it with people interested in education and teachers like Ms. Hunter.
Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good plan for now.
All right, Team Aardvarks, thank you for taking us along that journey with you. Judges, Q&A is open.
Super engaging video, as everyone's saying in the chat. I liked the documentary style, kind of showing the meeting of you and your community partner, how you prototyped and developed it. I was curious how or why you came up with soda cans in your design. I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, I think Reva can take that question.
Yeah, so initially for our first design, we were looking for materials that were kind of easily accessible and found, and we came across soda cans, which are super buoyant, and we thought that they would help keep our PVC afloat. But we realized that they're really hard to waterproof because of the actual opening part, so we decided to kind of steer away from that.
Cool, thank you.
I think it's a great idea. My question is, how did you come up with the idea of using the Raspberry Pi?
So Bihan can take that question.
Yeah, so actually, originally we were looking at the Arduino, but we wanted to run a headless setup, which essentially means we wanted it to connect to the Wi-Fi, but to be able to view the data without any wires from another computer. And so what we did was we used a VNC, or a virtual network connection, and through the IP of the Raspberry Pi on any other computer, we're able to connect to it and view all of our data from there.
Thank you. So since there's no question, I'll have a follow-up question. Did, did you have any trouble programming the Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, Vihan can take that.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the issues with the Raspberry Pi came on both the hardware and software side. But from the software side, one thing I can say was, actually, I heard we have a software architect, which makes me really excited because we took inspiration from Apache Kafka, which is essentially a sort of architecture that we use where there's publishers and subscribers. And so all of our sensors are publishers, which publish to the subscribe or a topic, and the subscriber or the Raspberry Pi pulls from that specific topic. And so implementing that sort of architecture was probably the biggest challenge on the software side.
Great job, Team Aardvarks. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing your pitch with us and your invention idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
All right. And we have our final pitch, which is also from 49ers STEM Leadership Institute. And that pitch is from the team Farminators with their Smart Squirrel Spray, a motion detected and cost-efficient system that sprays and deters ground squirrels and other pests in farms and other areas.
Hi, we're the Farminators, and this is our pitch. Our community partner is Farmer Dave. He works at the Santa Clara Unified School District farm and grows over 100,000 pounds of crops organically for our school district's lunches. His main goal this year is to grow 100 tons of produce for the students of the district. Working with Farmer Dave is super important to us because as students, we need food that'll nourish our bodies throughout the day. And Farmer Dave and his associates make that happen with his farm. So being able to help the people that help us has been a truly incredible experience. Some of the challenges that Farmer Dave faces are crows and ground squirrels, which reduce his crop yield by 20%. He also finds it difficult to maintain his equipment and plant crops, especially in the winter. The issue that we're focusing on is ground squirrels, which burrow into the property and eat Farmer Dave's crops. He wants ground squirrels to leave his farm and find another place for them to go. A direct quote from him, "I don't care where they go as long as it's not him."
After learning about Farmer Dave's consistent struggle with the ground squirrels, our initial solution was to make a scarecrow drone that would be able to scare away the ground squirrels and protect his crops. The design consisted of a 3D printed frame, a Raspberry Pi, and ultrasonic sensors which will allow it to localize. We quickly realized that this wasn't feasible due to many reasons, including its inability to effectively scare away the ground squirrels, move, and municipal laws which prevented it from having a drone on school property. It was also not what our community partner Dave needed. We thought the idea was cool and effective, but after researching practicality, we knew we needed to change direction. After spending around 4 months on this design, we weren't exactly thrilled with the idea of pivoting, but as all things in life, we knew it was necessary and decided to take a leap of faith and head for a redesign. One of Dave's main struggles that leads to a greater presence of ground squirrels is his inability to use pesticides on his farm, as it resides right next to a school and it could potentially endanger his students. After going back to the drawing board and talking with Dave, we were able to come up with our current solution. The goal was to utilize a PIR motion detecting sensor alongside a spray bottle, Arduino, and a piezo buzzer, which would one, spray the squirrel with a non-pesticide repellent, and two, make a loud buzzing noise to scare the squirrel away. And showcased below is our engineering design process. We first drew our prototype, tested our sensors, made our first cardboard prototype, and finally created our final CAD model. And here's a quick demo video of our product.
This is our device. When a ground squirrel is detected, it will spray this liquid at it, and hopefully the ground squirrel will go away. This is an example of a ground squirrel ravaging Farmer Dave's crops. And here it will get sprayed and leave. Lovely. After testing our product, we created both a graph and a table. The graph shows trials versus the range of water sprayed, depending on whether the squirrel was present or not. Overall, we had a 75% success rate, with most of our trials working effectively when the squirrel is present.
So our goal was to make our product as unique as possible, and to do this we created a competitor matrix. And one product that we found that was similar to ours on the market was the solar powered motion activated squirrel and chipmunk sprinkler. So some similarities that they share with our product was that it uses a PIR sensor to detect the movement of the squirrel, and then it sprays something at the squirrel to repel them, similar to our product. But we made our product more unique by using a servo motor powered spray to spray the water onto the squirrels, and our product also buzzes to ensure that the squirrel is deterred and decreases the chances of it coming back to the farm, as Farmer Dave's goal was to migrate these squirrels to a different area. This also allowed us to target squirrels who are climbing the crops rather than just the ones on the ground, which ensures a wide range of removal of them. And it's also targeted towards small farms like Farmer Dave's and is mass manufacturable, as he struggles a lot with the fact that his farm is small, so he's not able to gain access to the same tools that these big farms have. And this product is also safe to the children around the school area. So as we would like to further develop our product, in the future we would like to make our Arduino solar power to create a sustainable source of power for our product, being concerned about the environment and being in the area we live in. We would also like to add a sprinkler system along with our spray system so that we can repel the squirrels on the ground as well as the ones climbing the crops to ensure a wide and more successful range of deterrents. And lastly, we would like to implement our solution into Farmer Dave's farm and observed a marked reduction in the ground squirrel appearances so that he can produce crops successfully for the students in the district. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.
All right, last but not least, Farminators, take it away.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Great job. Loved seeing it. I liked your little squirrel prototype with the cardboard and all that. That was super cute and helped me understand how it worked. I'm curious if when piloting, you've thought of habituation and that the squirrel gets sprayed, it hears the noise, but ultimately it realizes that like nothing bad's really going to happen. And then over time it starts to like ignore the negative stimuli. Like, is there research on that or anything along those lines?
Yeah, so our community partner has tried numerous ways to deter the ground squirrels. He's tried crashing in their burrows. He's tried like he's tried a lot of things to get these squirrels to go away, and they just keep coming back. But they have responded to the burrows breaking in because it takes time to reconstruct. So but what they do is they burrow into the farm, and some burrows become inactive over time if it sees that Dave is recognizing those burrows and deterring them from that area. So we made our device cost efficient so that Dave can have multiple of them on his farm. And if he notices that a burrow is becoming inactive due to our device, it's super portable and he can move it from burrow to burrow.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I also really liked, yeah, that kind of National Geographic kind of British voice. I'm wondering, is the so the spray is just water or is it mixed with something?
So actually, so right now we tested it with water, but we did a lot of research and we read that castor oil is very efficient in getting as a deterrent for ground squirrels. And obviously, what would be most effective would be some kind of pesticide or something, but like he doesn't want to use that on his farm, first of all, and it's right next to a school, so it wouldn't be safe for like the students or any of the people around it. So we will probably implement castor oil into it as we develop it, and to make sure that it's like more efficient than water, because Farmer Dave has tried using water before with the squirrels, so they might be used to it by now. But like, by when we add castor oil, it should work more efficiently.
Okay, yeah. And then the other question I guess I had was on, I said the buzzing. if you guys had tested, I guess, like the volumes, or maybe, I don't know, I was thinking when your first approach, you were using like a bird drone, maybe like a bird sound, like a hawk, or shaping it, maybe shaping, I don't know, trying to kind of incorporate some of those bird deterrent aspects.
Yeah, so our initial solution was to make a hawk drone, as Farmer Dave mentioned to us that he has one of these hawks on his farm that just ravages away the ground squirrels really effectively. And he wanted to see if we could design a hawk that would actually get rid of these squirrels. But while designing, we realized that it was like really ineffective because it couldn't act the same as a real like hawk, and it would be really hard to program, and it would use a lot of battery, so it would be ineffective. And this really led us to pivot and make our current design where we target the ground squirrels at their burrows, and this helps us like just effectively like solve this problem.
And yeah, adding on to that, after talking to Farmer Dave, we noticed that hawk noises are really effective, and so we didn't want to completely give up on that idea. So something that we tried to incorporate was in our future iterations, we could have a speaker instead of a buzzer, and that would enable us to have hawk noises as well with any other noises that Farmer Dave realizes that potentially could be more effective than others. And so taking into account what Farmer Dave really wanted. So we try to make it as open-ended as possible.
Great. I think there's time for one more question or comment from our judges, if you have any. Good to go? All right. Thank you so much, Farminators. And that concludes the pitch portion of our demo day. So just everybody who's here, I'm seeing us all pop up again, turning our cameras back on. Thank you so much. I think everybody deserves such a big round of applause. I love the variety of projects and community partners you all worked with, the types of pitch videos that we saw. Honestly, phenomenal job. Give you so much kudos, and I know that we talk about the next generation of fearless and compassionate change makers, and we see them right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up a breakout room. It's only one breakout room, and I'm going to ask that only the judges go in there. You're going to have the time to now deliberate and talk with one another about the pitch presentations using your rubric. And when you all come back, we'll have our awards. Sound good? All right, so judges, feel free to go in there. And I have the great pleasure of now introducing our keynote speaker, Luke Schoberg, who has been a supporter of Project Invent for a while now, was actually a judge at a demo day last night in NorCal. So back-to-back Project Invent experiences. So appreciate you being here, Luke. And honestly, yeah, I'll let you take it away and speak to our student teams.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. I'm going to attempt to share my screen, and let's see how this goes. And let me know, type in chat or raise your hand if you're having a difficult time hearing me at all. Let's try.
Looks good.
All right. Okay. Today, I want to talk about 3 of the foundational principles of Project Invent: curiosity, resilience, and ambition. Because while you have been building your projects, believe it or not, my assertion is that the project is not the thing that is important. What is important is the ways that you are building up and developing these 3 aspects of yourself. I'd like this to be a little interactive. I am going to ask a few questions, and I really do want to hear from you. Either type into the chat or raise your hand, and I will try to call on you, or Carrie will try to call on you. So who am I? My name is Luke Schoberg. As Carrie said, I'm on the technical staff at a company called Latacora. We run cybersecurity for startups. So if your project involved writing any software, which was very many of them, perhaps all of them, you'd hire my company. We would try to hack it And then we would tell you the vulnerabilities so that you could fix that before your product went to market and the whole world started hacking away at it. I've also worked for several venture capital firms. VC firms give funding to entrepreneurs and they help them grow their startups. So I know very many CEOs and founders, people who are inventors and entrepreneurs. I see a lot of similarities between those CEOs and those founders and the students here today. A couple quick fun facts about me. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. It is a lovely place, some of the mountains there on the left-hand side of the screen. Go visit, you'll enjoy it. Also, when I was in middle school and high school, I took the city bus to get to high school in middle school. I'll come back to that fact a little bit later on in the presentation. So again, I work in cybersecurity. I want to make a quick note about their hacker image in the middle of the screen here, this sort of like dude in a hoodie hacking away on stuff. Speaking for myself, the way that I became an effective cybersecurity person was I followed a path that had a foundation in IT. I built and operated servers, built and operated networks. However, people enter cybersecurity a lot of different ways. And so I want to introduce you to 3 of my favorite hackers. Because I totally hate this hacker dude stereotype, please meet 3 of my favorite hackers. Rachel Toback on the left is a social engineer. She's an expert in social engineering, tricking people into doing things against their will. She's the CEO and founder of a company called Social Proof Security. In the middle is Katie Masuris. She's an expert in vulnerability disclosure and bug bounties. She's the founder and CEO of a company called Luda Security. And on the right-hand side is Runa Sandvik. She's a software engineer. She's also the former head of security for the New York Times. She founded a company called Granite. They're a consulting firm. They help protect journalists and social activists against hacking attempts. So here on screen, 3 world-class hackers, entrepreneurs, CEOs who run companies and who are not dudes wearing hoodies. So let's talk about some of the first attributes of Project Invent to focus on. Curiosity. Curiosity, to me, the way that I think about it is something that is inside of you that you have to listen for. You have to feed it. So my first question for the group, how can you tell if someone is curious? How does curiosity show up in other people? What does it look like when people are curious? Okay, we've got a couple answers in chat. Let's see here. Questioning, yes, exactly. Yes, wanting to learn more, 100%. Experimenting, that's right. Let's focus on a couple questions. I would say that the way that you tell, yep, you don't even, it doesn't have to be out loud. It's something happening inside of yourself, always wanting to know things. The way, for me, the 2 key attributes of curiosity are 2 questions, why and what if? And I bet you had a lot of why and what if moments during your projects. I think these are the 2 most foundational questions you can ask as you invent and as you create. Tearing things apart and seeing how they put back together. Exactly, getting hands-on. Oh my gosh, I totally love that. Let's talk about hands-on. It's almost like someone read my notes and knew what I wanted to talk about. Has anyone here tried to hack anything? Actually, you know what? This is getting recorded, so you don't have to answer that question. Just think about yourself inside if you've ever tried to hack anything. You don't have to ask the question out loud. But I'll tell you about something that I tried to hack. I have a short bike story. Who here has both a bike and a toolbox? Maybe raise your, yep, bike and a toolbox. Okay, great. Two killer things. Who here has fully disassembled a bicycle and then reassembled it? Fully disassembled, little tiny bits, little tiny fragments of bike on the floor of your garage. Okay. I can't quite tell if everybody's raising their hands or not, but I did. So I was very curious. I asked, what if I disassemble my bike into its fragmented constituent parts and I put it back together and had a really fun time doing that, except that I looked at the garage floor and I still had parts left over. And that was the last time I rode that bike. So unfortunately, curiosity, it benefits from patience, it benefits from hands-on experience, but unfortunately, that was the end of my bike story. I never rode that bike again. So did not have a good experience with getting curious about my bike because I had not yet developed the second key characteristic from Project Invent, which is resilience. I had not yet developed resilience in the face of adversity. Curiosity without resilience is not going to take you far. You'll be curious, you'll discover a path. And just like this image here on screen, you're going to hit a gate, you're going to hit an obstacle, and you'll stop. Resilience is what bridges the gap between your expectations and reality. You expect your code that you write is going to work a certain way. The reality is, oh my gosh, this is really hard and semicolons matter. Okay. Challenges and hardships, and it might be code, it could be other aspects of the projects that you work on. Challenges and hardship in your life and in the projects you work on are going to appear in many forms. Real quick, what's a challenge that you had in your projects? You can probably easiest to just type in chat. I saw a bunch of challenges that people talked about. The cat team, 7 a.m. synthesizer, pond patrol, definitely had some challenges. Type a couple quick ideas. 3D printers, yes. Oh my goodness, 3D printers. Holy cow, yes. So challenging. SQLite, absolutely. It can be learning code is like super difficult. How long it takes to print a model, yes. These are all challenges where what you expect and the reality of what you're dealing with, there's just a big delta, and you got to figure that out. Google Sheets API, OMG, yes. If you're doing API hacking, that can be super difficult. Sometimes what happens when you hit an obstacle, you have to brute force a solution. You have to just throw a lot of manual work at it. You got to try a bunch of things, especially imagine like 3D printing, right? You just keep running that job again and again. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and you have to embrace the suck. If you haven't heard this term before, this is a term that was popularized originally by the Navy SEALs, the US Navy SEALs. I said before that resilience is what bridges the gap between your expectations and reality. Another way to think about it is resilience is what bridges the gap between your training and reality, which is to say, you may not be prepared for the hurdle that's in front of you. One of the things I'd like to share is there have been many studies of athletic performance that show people who run marathons, people who run ultra marathons. And what these studies have shown is that your brain tells you to quit far before you have truly exhausted yourself physically. When you're running a 5K, a 10K, your first marathon, you want to give up before the very end and your brain is telling you to stop. You actually have way more gas in the tank. Your brain is actually trying to protect your physical body. The reason that is important is the hard things that you go through today become the easy things tomorrow. So I encourage you, after this presentation today, ask some adults in your life, how early do you wake up? Maybe you already know the adults in your life, right, in your household, how early they wake up. I used to think that waking up at 7 a.m. was a physical impossibility. Like I could not imagine a world where I would wake up at 7 in the morning. Now I wake up at 5 a.m. on the regular. Over time, through repetition and just embracing the difficulty of life, the hard things today become the easy things tomorrow. But first, it would not be 2024 if we didn't have a quick word about AI. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't the right slide. Here we go. A quick word about AI. There are actual experts on AI and education who are on this call, and I defer to them. But I just want to share a couple quick hot takes about AI. For me, and no question, AI is the future. It's present in all software and devices. It will be just a part of our life in the future. There's no mistaking that. The two things that I think about AI that are useful, I think AI is helpful at reducing toil. And I think that AI can be a good improv partner. So my 2 cents is I would think of AI as being a tool that can be a great jumpstart to help you begin your creative journey. Or as a way to help you save time. But I really, really encourage you to think about and be mindful of not letting AI be a way to steal your growth experiences. All right, that's my 2 cents about that. So in the context of inventing new products, we've talked about curiosity. Curiosity leads to product ideas. We've talked about resilience. Resilience is what drives you forward when obstacles appear. So you've gotten curious, you've gone through the gate in the fence that we saw a couple slides ago. Now you've got this great path in front of you. What are you going to do? Let's talk about ambition. Ambition is the compass that keeps your eyes on the horizon. Resilience will get you through the gate. Ambition says, how much farther can I go? Where am I going to point? How far will I set my eyes on the horizon? Am I just going to go to this first little bridge right here and stop there? Or am I going to keep my eyes on one of the distant mountaintops? And by the way, a quick note about AI, every single one of these images in this presentation was created by AI, right? I used it to reduce toil. Instead of me going to search like Getty images and like stock photography, I just created all these images with AI. So working smart. But anyway, a little distraction. Let's talk about ambition again. So resilience will get you through the gate. You're looking at this great path. Ambition says, how much farther can I go? There are some downsides to artistics. Thank you for yeah, there are a lot of issues about creativity and AI that are definitely outside the bounds of this talk. Remember at the beginning of the talk, I gave a little bit of background about myself. I said I was from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I said that I took the city bus to get to high school. Let's talk about buses. One way to think about ambition is to ask the question of yourself, do I want to be a passenger or do I want to be a driver? Okay, that's ambitious. Do I just want to sit on the bus or do I want to have my hands on the steering wheel actually driving? I'm going to argue that that is a small scale for ambition. That is insufficient. How about, do you want to buy your own bus and make a nice little bus business for yourself? How about maybe you want to take over the bus company and revolutionize public transportation so that cities save money, there's less air pollution, streets are safer. Ambition isn't about having the most money or about having the most status. Ambition is about having the biggest impact that you can have. So if all you focus on is just the outside trappings of how ambition shows up, especially in our society, I think you're missing the mark. Focus on the kinds of impact you can have in your life by applying your curiosity and your resilience. And use your ambition to set your sights on a really distant goal and try to achieve it. So the last slide of my presentation, I want to congratulate all the teams. I'm really impressed with the quality of your projects. I saw some really amazing work today. I do want to reinforce the idea that the projects are not the goal. The projects are a manifestation of a way that you get to practice those 3 key attributes, those critical attributes that you're going to need in the future: curiosity, resilience, and finally, ambition. Thank you very much, everybody, for this. I totally appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luke. Really appreciate your insight and also focusing a lot on these mindsets and these skills that not only will help students and learners succeed in Project Invent, but really beyond it. Because as much as we know these prototypes and inventions are incredible, it's really thinking about going forward and taking those skills with them to contribute positively to society and their education or careers or whatever they pursue in the future. So thank you for highlighting that. Really loved it. Do you have like a minute or so for any follow-up questions?
I would love to answer any questions. If anybody wants to talk about AI or hacking or how do I secure my AWS Kafka? Actually, maybe we should probably take that offline, I would say. But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them in chat or use the little hand raise button in the, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, do a hand raise. Do you want to ask about how to get into cybersecurity, maybe, or becoming an entrepreneur?
We'll give a minute to think or so. I'm curious how you got into cybersecurity.
Yeah, so it's funny. I actually thought that I was going to teach high school biology after I graduated from college. I got my degree in biology. I studied education. So my whole goal was to teach biology when I got out of school. And I kind of talked my way into my first IT job, which was at a biotech. So kind of leveraging biology. And I was just so curious about the way hackers thought about ways to break things. Now, for a lot of the students during your projects, things maybe broke on their own, and you didn't actually need like an outside party to do the breaking for you. But I was in the context of a corporate environment, I was very interested in all the people who were trying to break into our company and steal our secrets, and so that kind of curiosity of how are they going to get in. Actually, let me ask a quick question. Does anyone know the difference between a red team and a blue team? Maybe just type it in the chat. Have you ever heard of those terms before, red team and blue team? A little bit of the clue in the cybersecurity is in the cybersecurity context, right? Red, the color of danger; blue, maybe a nicer color of safety. Any of that, I'll give people just a minute to type in the chat. While you're typing in the chat, I love Peter's comment of the former member of a band who's now a cybersecurity expert. Talk about like an unconventional path. That is so interesting. People really do get into cybersecurity through a lot of different ways. You can be a musician, be very creative, and get into cybersecurity that way. I totally love that. That's right. Hackers, yes, hackers that try to break cybersecurity control to get into software. That is an example of a red team. The red teams are like the attackers. They're the offensive people who try to break things. Blue team are defenders who try to keep the attackers and the malicious actors out of your sensitive data and out of your systems. So a lot of times people will specialize on either red team work or blue team work. And the people who I really enjoy working with are the ones who have the kind of flexibility of creativity to do both. They can think about defending their environment, but sometimes they can kind of flip that and be creative against attacking. Active Davis helpful distributors, was that similar to the video game context that you were thinking of, maybe? Like a red team being like an attacking team and blue team being a defending team? I'd be so interested if cybersecurity terms are making their way into a video game context these days. Kinda, yeah, okay. That would probably be one of the least exciting cybersecurity, video games to ever play would be a hacking game. I'd stick to first-person shooters myself, personally.
Now, Luke, I know like your presentation was so insightful itself. Do you have any words of wisdom, advice, anything to say to these teams as they move forward, whether it be in Project Invent next year, or we know we have some graduating classes, or just thinking about the future, short term, long term, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think so. And I think Palm Patrol asked a really good question about, taking on the field of entrepreneurship. So I love cybersecurity and I love talking about it, but really we're here for entrepreneurship, for invention, for how we challenge ourselves to come up with new ideas and solving new puzzles. So I think when I think about entrepreneurs and people who are really successful at creating new things, is they're bothered by they're trying to solve problems that bother them personally. And so when there's something about your environment, whether it's an existing product you're using, or whether it's in the context of maybe some volunteer work or some of the student work you're doing, and you're running into a problem and it really bugs you. And you think, man, wouldn't it just be great if there were a problem, if there were a solution to this problem? The most effective entrepreneurs, I believe, start from a foundation of feeling that frustration themselves internally. I'll contrast that with another kind of entrepreneur who might just be in it for the money, right? I want to create a business that's just gonna that's going to make a lot of money. How can I get people to spend money and throw it my way? Personally, I feel like those entrepreneurs, in my experience, have not been as successful as the ones who really internalize and deeply have problems. I saw a question from Aardvarks about taking a passion project to the next level. One idea would be
Carrie.
Oh, what a timing, Carrie.
Makes me so happy. Yeah.
Sorry, we're back.
Love it. All these hands, so wonderful.
Yeah, I think we have time for like one more question, maybe, if there is one. I know I just missed a little bit. All right, cool. Well, Luke, thank you again for taking the time to be our keynote today. I mean, look at all these applauses. Really sharing your
Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
We at Project Invent are so grateful for you. I mean, as I said, back to back demo days. So thank you.
It's super exciting for me. I'm so inspired by the quality of the projects, the quality of the thought that went into the projects, and really, most importantly, the hurdles that I've seen students overcome in order to create this final output. I know that you all worked super hard, had to demonstrate so much resilience, and went through a lot of failure to get where you are today. So really, so impressed with you. It's really inspiring to be here and see what you do. So glad to be a part of today's presentations.
Woo, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, feel free to type in chat anything else you have to say to Luke. And yeah, we are almost done. Thank you everybody for sticking around. And we are going to welcome our judges back, who are going to announce the award winners. And honestly, I mean, I just have to say, again, this entire event has been filled with such ambition, curiosity, wonder, innovation. I mean, so many components that really make up what Project Invent is. But with these awards, I want to remind everybody that they really focus on these student mindsets that we've been talking about. So the judges are going to award student teams based upon how you've grown across these mindsets during your time with Project Invent, in the invention journey, and the design thinking process. So as a reminder, we have ambition, so setting those high goals, agency, learning independently, creative confidence, which is taking that innovative approach, empathy, teams that really listen to their users, resilience, those who learn from failure, and curiosity, finding out how things work. And the 4 awards that are going to be given out today are the Need Finder Award for a team that really listened to their user, the Product Pivot Award for a team that overcame those obstacles, the Explorer Award, who prioritized learning, and the Moonshot Award, a team who had a notably novel or impactful idea. So I will give it to the judges. And whoever wants to start out with the awards, go ahead.
Sure. So the first award we're going to do is the Explorer Award, and that's going to be presented by Zaki. So Zaki, take it away.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, so I'd like to acknowledge that all the teams have done a great job. They have put their energy and great technical skills and knowledge. So congratulate everybody. You are the innovators of future, definitely, and you have started the journey. First off, I like to present the Explorer Award, and obviously the decision was not easy, trust me. But based on the criteria that was given to us, we have decided to present this award to Team Edward. And the reason we chose this award is the way the team has looked at multiple aspects of the design challenge. We were impressed with their fact that they have looked at all the aspect of technology, hardware, software, and they were able to answer some of the critical questions with respect to their design. So great work. Keep it up, and we wish you the best for future.
Congratulations, Team Aardvark. The next award we would like to do is the Need Finder Award, and I will be presenting this one. The Need Finder Award goes to Team Tech 8. Team Tech 8, all of us on the panel were extremely impressed with your responsiveness and just human-centeredness of what you were doing with your watch. And we feel like with something, you know, like the Need Finder Award, this is the absolute kind of like product. It's the kind of team approach, like when you had the slides showing all your user feedback and everything. This one was actually everyone on the team pretty much coalesced quickly that like, yes, this team deserves a Need Finder Award. So congratulations, Team Tech 8. And then the next award that we're going to be doing is the Product Pivot Award presented by Donaldo.
All right, thank you. Yes, so for the Product Pivot Award, we have chosen 7 AM synthesizers. We were really impressed just with the level of iteration and resilience that y'all have had, and just constantly learning from each failure and improving, moving forward. And yeah, just that constant iteration, and also just yeah, keeping in mind, you know, your user needs as it comes to your design criteria. And
yes, congratulations, Team 7 AM synthesizers. We all really loved your product and presentation too. And finally, for our Moonshot Award, I'm going to kick it over to Krishna to present.
Sure. Thank you, Elizabeth. And yeah, I think as Jackie mentioned, it was a very tough choice to choose. And as there are just 4 awards, and you guys have done really, really tremendous job. Really appreciate you coming to all this way. Yeah, I think the Moonshot Award that we decided to give is for Class Sync. Kudos, team. I know, again, this team, one of the reasons that all the judges kind of agreed when we were taking note on this team is given the real-time application of the solution, and the tool has great benefits, but though there are certain challenges, the team has acknowledged on the ethical privacy aspects as well. So I think kudos, guys. That was quite impressive.
Yes, we were all impressed, Classic. And, you know, when I was in the judging room with everyone, like we had so many amazing teams. We were kind of like battling out for all of them. But I did say, don't forget Class Sync just because they went earlier, you know, because with these things, sometimes the ones that went more recently will be a little fresh in your mind. So I want everyone to know that you were all equally and fairly considered by our judging panel. So great job all around. And the judges also really do want to acknowledge team, I want to get the name wrong. Just give me 1 second. Team,
Task Alert.
Sorry, Task Alert. Yes, Team Task Alert from Panama for all the challenges you had to overcome, in particular, responding to judges' questions in real time and your second language and everything. We all thought you did a great job. And we also want to acknowledge Team Mint too. You were incredibly competitive and definitely like honorable mention to that team. But all the teams, great job. And other judges, if you have any other comments, definitely share.
Awesome. We so appreciate all of our teams, and I know it was not an easy process for our judges to determine these awards, and we just want to acknowledge every single team. Honestly, being here today, especially on the weekend, right? Seeing every single project and the energy and the dedication and the heart put into these, and your teams and the growth that you have gone through Project Invent this year, this semester, whatever it may be. is super inspirational. And we say you're going to be change makers. We know it, not just cliche. And I also don't want to forget thanking some incredible people who are here today. So we'll start out with our keynote. Luke, thank you so much again for joining us. Awesome, awesome. Here, I actually have my thank you screen. Let's go. And then I also want to thank our incredible judges, Donaldo, Elizabeth, Van, Saki, and Krishna. I know you all put such heart and intention into being here today. Really appreciate you. We have some volunteers in the room. Peter, thank you for being so active. Peter has been an idea reviewer for us before. Thank you for checking in and seeing some of your teams again, for being, you know, a consistent supporter of Project Invent. To our teams, again, shouting you all out because you are absolutely incredible and wonderful and amazing, and I can't stop saying your praises. And then I want to shout out all of our fellows. Please take the stage right now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you all can wave. And so Jason and Tracy, we have Carlin. Who am I missing? Jen? Am I missing anybody? I definitely am. Oh, and Brendan, Woolley. Of course. Thank you to all of our fellows. Honestly, educators don't get thanked enough. So really appreciate you all. And we hope that you have an amazing rest of the weekend and continue to do great things. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being such great participants.